Hello fellow makeup lovers, how are you guys doing today? I am super excited for this video because we're going to be trying out the new Lunar Beauty Eternal Eclipse Palette. I was so excited about this one because I've been really into cool tones lately, so when I saw the reveal of this, I knew I just had to get it. I also have had really good experiences with almost everything else I've tried from Lunar Beauty in the past, so I felt pretty confident that this would be worth the money, and I'm excited to test that out with y'all today. All of the shimmers in here look so beautiful. When I opened up in person, I literally gasped. I was like, this is the most beautiful palette. I'm really hoping it's just going to be like my perfect cool tone, sultry palette. I'm looking at the browns and they do look quite warm in the palette, but I hope that they will apply to the skin a little bit more cool toned, and maybe the black background is just throwing it off. I feel like cool tone browns would make so much more sense with this color story as a whole, but I'm just excited to go ahead and try it. I also pulled out my other things that I have from Lunar Beauty. I've got their blush palette, highlight, I've got a lip gloss, and I figured we could do like a full face of Lunar Beauty, at least of all the products they sell thus far. And I feel like we need a moment to just admire how beautiful this packaging is. I can't get over it. I just want to like have a full display of like only Lunar Beauty products. I just realized I forgot to welcome y'all back for another day of Indiemas. It's my Vlogmas all month long talking about indie makeup, which isn't really that different than what I normally do, but it's every single day. So if you're not subscribed already and you want to see all those videos, make sure that you do subscribe. But let's go ahead and jump into some swatches. I'm so excited to swatch this top row. First, we have the shade Flare, which is like a soft metallic gold. That looks really beautiful. Actually, I think that would be a stunning highlight as well. Next, we have Adamantium, which is such a stunning silver. It's just so foiled. Really excited about that. We have Meteor, which looks like another really beautiful foiled shimmer. This one has like really beautiful little sparkles of purple and blue, and it looks like such a multi-dimensional smoky shade. Really like what I'm seeing so far. Okay, next we have Gold Dust, which, oh my goodness, that is such a pretty like antique bronzy gold. Wow. We have Desert Sky, which looks like a pretty neutral brown satin. And then Dusk, which I feel so sad messing up these perfect little moons, but this just looks like a very light tan matte. Okay, my swatches are a little sketchy today, but looking good. Next we have Rose Thorn, which looks like a really beautiful soft mauve. Sandstorm, which is another like tan brown. Summer Sky, which is more of a red tone brown. All feels super smooth. Okay, next we have Earthbender, which looks like a really nice, deep, rich brown. I like how that looks. We've got Starry Eyed, which is more of a gunmetal shimmer. Again, it has really beautiful little sparkles in it, just super dimensional. And then Smoke, which looks like a very blue-toned, mid-tone gray matte. Okay, last but not least, we've got the Papa Blue here with the shade Deep Sea, which is more of like a rich shimmery blue. It's not your typical cobalt. It has like a smokiness to it. And I feel like for all the palettes that have pops of blue, this one, it really makes sense. We've got Lagoon, which is kind of like a charcoaly navy. Like it's a navy, but it has like a gray undertone to it. And then Night Sky. Oh my gosh, that is so beautiful. It's a black with like blue, purple, silver shimmers, and it shows really well. I feel like you'd have to use a glitter primer with that, but that would be such a stunning smoky eye. I mean, I just want to show you it up close. Do you see that? Wow. Thoroughly impressed. I think that looks so beautiful. I mean, I feel like it's a little less cool tone than I thought it was. Like, just like looking at it originally, I thought it was going to be a little bit more like gray overall. I feel like you could go so many different directions with this as a neutral palette. and it still has like a really nice depth and richness to it. Okay, I'm just gonna go into the ABH eye primer just because I have it right in front of me. Just using a little bit to prime my eyes. I feel like I need to go ahead and do like a full blown out smoky eye, so I'm gonna start off. I'm gonna use the shade Rose Thorn as my transition shade, and I'm just gonna pop that right into my crease. It's a really pretty mauve-y tone. I actually don't want to build this up a whole bunch, so I'm just going to take that first initial application and blend it out and then call it a day. Move on to the next shade. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and dip into the shade Smoke, and I'm going to apply that directly into my crease, and then just start lightly blending it out. Again, just blending super easily. I'm also going to take a little bit of that shade and just throw it along the entire lower lash line. Just as like a transition. I'm sure I'll go over the lower lash line with other colors later. So I'm just lightly smoking it out. Okay, now I'm going to go into the shade Lagoon, and I'm just going to pop that on my outer V. Just starting off with a little bit and blending lightly. But I'm definitely going to build this up because I want you to be able to see the blue. I'm also going to take a little bit of Lagoon along the lower lash line. Okay, so for the lid, I think I'm going to start off with just a touch of Deep Sea. Just want to add a little bit more of a pop of blue right there. I'm like barely taking any on my finger. And I'm just going to pop it over the outer V, but the shimmer and the sparkle in that is absolutely beautiful. I'm going to go ahead and dip into Starry Eyed now, and I'm going to pop that along the front of the lower lash line. I love that when you apply these, even without using a glitter primer, sparkles are sticking and showing up really well. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and take the shade Meteor, just because it looks like such a beautiful shade. And it looks kind of like maybe it would be overlooked in the palette, but it has just something special to it. So I'm going to pop that on the front of my lid. Oh my gosh, the sparkles in that shadow. Wow. So I would say, as I suspected, this palette is really good quality. I think that might be the prettiest shade in the whole palette. My goodness. I don't know, can you guys see that? Wow. Now I'm going to go ahead and take the silver shade, and I'm going to pop that on my inner corner. And then last but not least for this palette, I'm going to dip into the shade Flare with a pencil brush, just taking a little bit, and I'm going to use that to highlight underneath my brow bone. Oh my goodness. The wind is crazy today. So I feel like even though when I swatched it out that looked super smooth, it actually has a bit of a sparkle to it. So I don't know if I love that underneath my brow bone, but I think it'll be beautiful on the inner corner or all over the lid for a really soft look. So really quickly, I'm going to throw on some liner, some mascara, and I'll be right back. Okay, for blush, I went ahead and pulled out my Moon Prism blush palette from Lunar Beauty. And I think I'm going to go ahead and use this really light pink right here called Pink Moon. Just throwing on a little. And if you are curious about this palette, I do have a full like review and face swatches up on my channel. I'll put in the cards right here. So I feel like that's always really helpful, is just getting to see all the shades on the skin. So just adding just a little flush of pink. Okay, now I'm going to go into the Lunar Beauty Moon Prism powder in the shade Mercury. This is like a soft, iridescent, white gold type of shade, and I don't know if it necessarily goes with this look, but it's the only highlight I have for Lunar Beauty, so we're going to make it work. Just going to go and throw that on my cheekbones, on my nose, my chin a little. Okay, last but not least, I have the Lunar Beauty lip gloss in the shade Dreamy. I absolutely love this one, but I'm going to go ahead and first apply a lip liner. This is the Dose of Colors Casual Lip Liner. And I'm just filling in my lips with that too. Alright, now going in with the Dreamy gloss on top. Alright guys, so this is the finished look, and I have to say I am seriously so impressed with this palette. I feel like I'm going to be using it all the time. All of the mattes that I used today blended so nicely and just super smooth, easy to work with. The shimmers are so beautiful, so multidimensional. If you love very impactful shimmers, this palette is it. I'm really glad that I went ahead and purchased it. I don't even know how I'm going to squeeze it into my schedule, but I'm going to try and do a multiple looks video with this palette just because I'm so excited about it. Whew, it's so pretty. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this first impression, and I will see you guys tomorrow for another day of Indiemas. Bye.